All right, good morning and happy Friday, everybody. We're going to try this yet again. It's our 4th of July HMG weekly wrap-up, take 3. Those of you that may have been on earlier this morning looking for the live feed, we were just having the internet wasn't cooperating with us, and I didn't like the way that the video turned out, so I erased it, and here I am. I'm going to do this again. So this is your HMG weekly wrap-up. First off, happy birthday, America. I'm looking forward to the 4th this weekend. It's going to be fun celebrating the greatest country in the world. And we are blessed that we get to live here. So I'm super excited. During this, as you watch this, post below and let me know what you're doing this weekend to celebrate. So also, it is Friday. Remember, everyone deployed. Red Friday. So what do we got going on this weekend? It is the 4th. It is the weekend. I'm happy about that. I'm sure a lot of you are. We got an event coming up this weekend down in Woodbury, Tennessee, over at our friends Short Mountain Distillery. They're doing the Greenway Funwaiser is what they call it, and July 3rd and 4th out there at Short Mountain Distillery, there is a music festival. They're going to have music, food, drinks, the whole 9 yards. They're camping on site, and there's going to be a bonfire at night. So if you're in the Middle Tennessee area, go check that out. You can get tickets at shortmountaindistillery.com or go to their Facebook page, Short Mountain Distillery, to check it out. Trying to figure out what else happened this week. Wednesday night, went back out to, for the first time in about a month, went to go see my friends over at Worth It Hollow, working with the horses, equine therapy. Worth It Hollow is a nonprofit organization in southern Lancaster County in Pennsylvania, which is just north of the Maryland border. Had a good time learning about horsemanship. I've been going there now for the latter part of about 3-4 months, I believe. Except the last month I've been on the road. So it was nice to get back down there and see the Worth It Hollow family there, get to work with the horses. This week we actually learned how to back a horse to a carriage, and then we went on a carriage ride. So it was actually pretty cool. So if you're ever in the Pennsylvania area and you want to do something like that, I strongly encourage you to come on down. Wednesday nights is Veterans Night. And if you're in Pennsylvania now, down in southern Lancaster County, it's their first Friday. Tonight they're doing a thing. I'll post a link of where they're going to be at. And Sarah, if you see this, leave a post underneath too for tonight's festivities down there. Also this week, I did an interview that's going to come out in a couple of weeks with 3 gentlemen that are writing a book, that wrote a book, and that it comes out September 11th. This year marks 20 years that we've been in the war on global terror, and they wrote a book called The 20-Year War. You can pre-order it now at the 20-Year War at 20yearwar.com. I can't talk this more. It's been a hell of a morning already. If you go to 20yearwar.com, you can pre-order this book. It's got pictures, and there's about 71 interviews that they did with people, veterans and active duty people who all branches of the military that have served during this 20-year period. It's honestly, you look at it, it's like the next history book. Stories that need to be told, quite frankly. So HMG we're not affiliated with it or whatnot. It's just a great book that I believe that needs to be shared, and we'll be sharing that episode here in the next couple of weeks with you on it. So stay tuned for that. So, all right, what are we here for? We're here because it is time for your HMG weekly wrap up. Here's what you missed on the shows this week. Sit down, strap in. We're going to get started what you had with the shows. This week, first up in the queue, Not Your Average Operator. Topic this week, withdrawal and bullying. All right, this is a big show. First off, it's their 51st episode, so congratulations on that. Next week marks their 1-year anniversary in doing shows and being a part of the HMG family. Fellas, nice job. So this week, the boys talk and share personal accolades on the current state of withdrawal of the coalition forces in Afghanistan and the impact that it might have moving forward in the near future. Mike and Raph have spent a ton of time over in that region, and it's a good natural discussion that you just listen on and hear their points of view of what could potentially happen moving forward in the region. Then they kind of transition into a tougher conversation, one that definitely needs to be talked about a lot more. They share personal stories of witnessing bullying, being bullied, or in fact being the bully themselves. And they, more importantly, they discuss the everlasting impact that it's had on their lives with those events. They agree that the impact and scars left from these life-altering events, some of it still impacts them today. So when you listen to this episode, put yourself in their shoes and think about a time in your life when you played either role, whether you were bullied or maybe you were one that was being bullied. What were those moments like? And are those moments, do they still affect you in your life today? And then looking back on it, is there something that you would have done differently? So it's a great topic that the guys covered this week. So make sure you check that out. That's this week's Not Your Average Operator. Next up, we have the Carry On podcast. This week, they had she has guest Chelsea Bush on the show, and she is the sister of PFC Austin Stump, who he was a soldier with the 3rd Ranger Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment, who reportedly died of suicide on August 25th, 2019. However, the family feels that there are many lingering questions still. So they talk about the loss and then some of the inconsistencies and what they're being told, and they're still seeking the truth. So if anybody out there that's watching this that might know anything about PFC Austin Stump, please reach out. That's this week's The Carry On podcast. Next up, we have in the MSEC podcast, Military Child Education Coalition. And this week is topic is Gab On. Gab On. As parents, we all struggle when it comes to conversation with our kids. And oh man, don't I know it. Join us as we chat this week with Jared and Sylvia Hall, creators of Gab On. It's a platform that creates opportunity for conversations through authentic learning. So check that out. That's a great topic this week. That's this week's the MSEC podcast. MSEC stands for Military Child Education Coalition. It's a great organization. If you are active duty military with children or a veteran for that matter, you should be following this organization. They have a ton of resources for our military members, whether you're getting ready to PCS, some tools that help make things easier, looking for schools for kids for your next duty station, etc. Go check it out. It's Military Child Education Coalition. And a shout out to the Spouse Club up at Joint Base Lewis and McCord for making this week's episode possible. So thank you. All right, next up we have On the Blue Line podcast. This week's guest is Sheriff Rose. He is a 20-plus year law enforcement veteran, community hero from Minnesota who has worked in patrol, warrants, investigations, and a whole other bunch of stuff throughout his career. Prior to law enforcement, though, he attended broadcasting school down in Arizona, and he now has a podcast called the Officer Down Memorial Podcast. Episodes are researched, written, and produced by Sheriff Rose himself. And the sheriff's goal with this program is to honor those fallen heroes, help us remember their service, remind us we must always support the families they have left behind, and ensure their sacrifice was never forgotten. That's this week's On the Blue Line podcast. Make sure you check it out. Great episode. Let me see here. Next up, we have the Arms Room Show. This week, they're outlining structural movement tactics for the armed citizen. Listen, if you are a gun owner, you should be training. Whether it's weekly, monthly, you need to be training. That is your responsibility as a gun owner. If you need help with training, you should be following the Arms Room. They have a slew of training opportunities, and they travel all over the country. So check them out. That's this week's The Arms Room Show. Next up, we have Time to Shine Today. This week's guest, Mort Barrett. This was a really interesting episode this week. And one of the big things, one of the takeaways from this is a great leader is curious, stays open to other people's points of view. And with curiosity, you can always build a better connection. This is really interesting. I've never really looked at it that way before. I think you'll find this one interesting. If you're a business owner or coach, you definitely want to tune into this week's Time to Shine Today. So check that out. Moving forward, we have the Ubaldi reports. This week, a couple topics that John and Joe talk about. They talk about the Shake Shack salt sack. Try saying that 5 times fast. I had to read that 4 or 5 times before even doing this video. They also talk about crime and guns, how they correlate with each other, and who's really at fault. So check that out. This week's the Ubaldi reports. Next up, we have Veterans Unite, Got Your 6 at 6 with the People's Patriot Project. Every Sunday, live on Facebook, they do a Got Your 6 at 6. And that's 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. So check that out. And the People's Patriot Project, they're going to have their own show page here very soon, right here on the Heroes Media Group Network. So make sure you stay tuned for that because they'll be taking over the Got Your 6 at 6. Great stuff there, what these guys are doing. Check it out. They do a lot of, and if you're an artist, a veteran in the music industry, make sure you check it out because they highlight a lot of veteran artists up and coming. So stay tuned for that. That's this week's Veterans Unite with the People's Patriot Project, Got Your 6 at 6. Next up, we have the Power Investing in People podcast. And I'm recording this on my phone. But the big thing, she's got a couple guests this week. Great show. But before I even get into any of that, the People's Patriot Project, not the People's Patriot, right? Great organization. But the Power of Investing in People podcast was Shay Sparks. I want to recognize Shay real quickly before I go on. Shay has been a great friend, first and foremost, and I want to congratulate her. And I encourage everybody out there in the interweb land to that are watching this or that watch this later on. I'm going to tag Shay underneath here under the video. Congratulate her because this was her 100th episode. She had reached 100 episodes with her show, and that's a huge milestone. And she is just getting started, folks. She has got a ton of interviews lined up, and I look forward to her show every week. It's fun being able to produce it here with the team, and she just puts out great content. She's a great interviewer. So Shay, hats off to you. Thank you. We love you, and thank you for all that you do in bringing value to people's lives. With that said, here's who she's got this week. She's got 2 shows this week because she's been on the road. First up, we got Robert Reed. From being a veteran to chef and now podcaster, Robert Reed shares his journey of living with ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. He shares his authentic, vulnerable journey of what it's like to now live life fully in a wheelchair. Great episode. Very inspiring. She also talks with a good friend of ours. The second episode this week, she talks with our buddy Wayne, who from owning a landscape business to going into law enforcement and now a podcaster, shares his journey of how we are all in the people's business. Now, Some of you are asking, well, who's Wayne? Wayne's the host of the On the Blue Line podcast. So it's a great interview. I love Wayne to death. Wayne, hats off to you, brother. So make sure you check that out. That's this week's The Power of Investing in People podcast. Let's see here. Next up, we have A Dose of Did You Know by Devoted to a Soldier. The host is our friend Danny Rocco. So check that out. Her shows are now live, and we are still pumping in past episodes there, but she's got about several episodes up that you can listen to right now. Make sure you check her out. She does a show about 3 times a week, and if you're not following Devoted to a Soldier on Facebook, strongly encourage you to do so. Make sure you check that out. Next up, we got War Hero to Superhero. This week, we're talking resources that fuel your passion in the boardroom. Check that out. That's another weekly show that we have here. War Hero to Superhero. Let me see here. Just a few left here. Next up, we have the Military Millionaire podcast. David's pumping up stuff every Friday afternoon. So make sure you check it out. If you are looking to invest, especially in the real estate game, this is a show that you should be following, the Military Millionaire podcast. David was active duty, Marine Corps. I believe he just ETS'd out. Don't quote me on that. David, if I'm wrong, leave a comment below, correct me. But he puts out a lot of great information about investing and how he got started in investing while he was still on active duty and things that you can do. He's got a Facebook group called From Military to Millionaire. And again, if you're looking to invest, especially in the real estate game, this is a show that you need to be following, because each week they give tips and clues and things that you could be doing. And they have some great interviews that they do as well. Later on this week, I'm going to be loading the Decision Hour. And this week's a special one because I get to talk with my friend Olivia Nunn, Lieutenant Colonel, now retired Olivia Nunn. And she is a podcaster herself. She's the host of the Soldier for Life podcast for the Army. She's a social media queen, quite the networker. She is just an amazing person to get to know. So keep your eye out for her because she's going places very, very quickly post-military career. So now that we kind of talk a little bit about her transition from out of the military to what she is getting ready to do. So that is this week's Decision Hour, and that's going to be coming out this weekend. Got to give a shout out to our sponsors. Make sure you go check out, again, Short Mountain Distillery. They got some stuff coming up this weekend going on. Their music festival. Don't forget to check that out. If you're in the Tennessee area, down in Woodbury, Tennessee, which is just south of Nashville a little bit, and you're looking to have some fun, July 3rd and 4th, Short Mountain Distillery, their Funweza that they're calling it. It's a music festival. They got camping on site. Go check it out. Great food, great drinks. That's Short Mountain Distillery. Go to shortmountaindistillery.com to get your tickets. Also, Rick's Roasters. They do our coffee blends, so you got to give a shout out to them. Our friends Simper Savage, Stacy and John, they make the best salad dressing and marinades around. Veteran-owned business. You got to check it out. It's great stuff. Simper Savage. And if you go, I'll put the link, but if you go, you get a discount using the HMG promo code. So check that out, Simper Savage. And John from Simper Savage, him and I are doing a series for the Decision Hour that's going to be coming out here in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that because it's going to be eye-opening. What else? DigiTrigger, JB Auto Clothiers, our sister company. Can't forget about them, right? HMG Beverage. HMG Beverage, they do our coffee. Check out the HMG coffee line. This one here is Heroes United, and this is the one that I drink. I'm part of the, I signed up for our monthly subscription. We offer a monthly subscription. So this is the blend that I like. We got 4 other blends right now, a total of 5. If you're not sure what blend that you like, go ahead and check it out. And for those of you out there that are, I know you're going to ask about the tea. We are working on the tea diligently. We had one fall through, the company that we thought we were going to work with. Numbers weren't coming out right. So we're talking to another company right now, closing a deal there. So hopefully before the end of the summer, start of the fall, we will have a few tea blends for you as well. That is it for the show, folks. That's all the time that I have right now. Happy Friday to you. Remember everyone deployed. God bless you. God bless America. Happy birthday, America. Everybody be safe. If you drink this weekend, make sure you be responsible. Do not drink and drive. I love you all, and we'll see you guys next week.